This feast that we celebrate, Christ the King, is not that very old. It actually was established in 1925, so just 99 years ago, by Pope Pius XI. And he established this feast because he saw the rise of atheism throughout the world. He saw the rise of fascism in Italy, the rise of communism in Russia, and the rise of National Socialism in Germany. People were trading in their freedom for what they saw as security. And Pope Pius XI saw this happening across the whole world. And the best example of this is Mexico in the 1920s, when Pope Pius XI was writing about this feast. Mexico was 90% Catholic in the 1920s when some politicians rose to power that made it illegal to practice the Catholic faith. Now, these were people motivated by Marxist ideologies and Masonic prejudices, and almost overnight, convents, and seminaries were shut down. Priests could not celebrate Mass and were forbidden to wear clerical garb. And people were not allowed to pray in public, and if they did, they were thrown in jail. It was even made illegal to say such things as adios, which of course means to God. So think about living in a Catholic country where everyone is Catholic, and then someone comes to power and makes it illegal to live as a Catholic. Well, it was to these people that Pope Pius XI was writing, and also to all of us, because the message is as relevant today as it was then. Because what he was saying is that no authoritarian government gives you your worth or your dignity. Either a good government upholds it or a bad government violates it. And Pope Pius XI said there is only one who has absolute claim on your life, and that is our Lord Jesus Christ, King of the universe. And therefore, he said, you cannot be timid in the face of authoritarianism. And so what this means for us is that we must surrender to Jesus Christ, our King. If Jesus Christ truly is the Lord of the universe, then we have to surrender to him by giving him access to our whole self. If I belong to Jesus Christ, the King of the universe, then I have to love, honor, and obey him. We have a king that we cannot control, and he's on a cross. And why is he on the cross? Because while he is on the cross, he is letting us know that while he is the King of the universe, while he has dominion, he does not dominate. While he is God that we can't control, he is a God that we can trust. Jesus Christ truly is a king. The Jews were not waiting for some hippie or some buddy to come along. They were waiting for a king that would come and rule the nations and establish peace and justice upon the earth. And when he was born, the three magi came looking for the King of the Jews. And when he stood before Pontius Pilate, he said, "You are right in saying, I'm a king." When he started his ministry, he announced the kingdom of heaven is at hand. He talked about the final judgment where he would sit over all the world, all the nations, and judge them as king. When he hung on the cross, King of the Jews hung over his head. The good thief next to him said, "Jesus, remember me when you come into your kingdom." And Jesus said, "I promise you, today you will be with me in paradise." But this wasn't like any other king. He wasn't born in a palace. He was born in a manger, a feeding trough for animals. He lived his whole life in poverty. Instead of trying to acquire more and more wealth and power, he renounced it. He didn't wear a crown of gold. He wore a crown of thorns. He was lifted high above the world, but on a cross, blessing and forgiving those who killed him. Make no mistake, he is a king. And a king has a kingdom, and a kingdom has boundaries, and he invites us to accept his reign over our minds and our hearts and our wills and our lives. Having a king means I'm not the king, and you're not the king. It means we don't do religion on our terms, but on his terms. We can't be cafeteria Catholics, picking and choosing the doctrines that we follow, picking and choosing the commandments we want, and shucking out the rest. We don't set the terms of our faith. We receive it. What rules your life? Does the clock rule you? Does the opinion of others rule you? Does your boss rule you? Your spouse? Your children's needs? Your political party? Your body appearance? The culture's expectations? Your favorite sports team? If Jesus is the king, that means that he reigns over our hearts and our minds, which means that our faith has implications on our lives that stretches way beyond what happens here in church every Sunday. It means I'm called to serve. He washed his apostles' feet, and he told them, "You call me Lord and Master. Look what I'm doing. If you call me Lord and Master, this is how you are supposed to serve others." You know, it might be scary, this whole idea of having a king. But the kingdom of this world, they've all gone out of style because a lot of kings have violated people's freedom in establishing their kingdoms and their power. But Jesus is unlike any other king. He is a king who guarantees our freedom. He is a king that makes us free from sin, free from self-centeredness, free even from death, free from the reign of this world. This is a king who invites us not just to be subjects, but lifts us up and makes us heirs of far more than kingdoms of brick and mortar. He cannot be simply one more thing competing for our attention and allegiance. Jesus Christ is King of the universe. But the real question, is he your king?